ladies and gentlemen. The convocation begins with the procession, which will enter the hall shortly. As the procession enters, all are requested to raise and remain standing till the procession are in front of their seats and till the chief guest takes his seat.
and gentlemen, welcome to the 4th Convocation of XIME Chennai. We now invite Padma Bhushan, Mr. B. Muthuraman, the Honorable Chairman of XIME Chennai, to declare the convocation open.
I declare the 4th Convocation of XIME Chennai open.
Thank you, sir.
The story of XIME is one of sheer determination and persistence. I now request Mr. Anil J. Philip, President of XAVIER Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning. Now that, for Chennai weather, that's not good enough, right? 21 degrees in Bangalore, neighboring town. So how about a louder good morning? Good morning, sir. That's more like it. Thank you. Okay, let me break with tradition and start by welcoming Batch 4, Class of 2022 XIME Chennai first. Right? So welcome. This is your day, so big welcome to each one of you. Then of course, Chairman XIME Chennai, Mr. Muthuraman. You know, from the day I first met him, this was some years back, maybe 10 years back, it's always a privilege. Every interaction with Mr. Muthuraman is a learning. And you should be really privileged. He was one of the tallest leaders that the Tata Group had with them, and you're really blessed that the 2 years that you all have been here, he has been your chairman. So welcome, sir. Vice President of XIME Society, Sister Pramila. Many of you won't know, but Sister Pramila was part of the original founding group, and we quite often lovingly call her mother. The reason is that the first campus that XIME started out in Bangalore was something that she helped provide in the St. Martha's complex. So Sister Pramila, welcome. Officiating Director Dr. Ravi, and this one again in many ways special because Dr. Ravi almost was among the first few people to join XIME Chennai, and he's been here as long as the institution has been there. So Dr. Ravi, welcome to you. And Dean Academics, the flamboyant, the always suited and booted Dean Academics, Dr. Suresh, welcome to you too. Faculty members who are here, staff, a warm welcome to you. You have journeyed with them for these 2 years. And therefore your importance in their life is summed up by a quote by Henry Brooks. A teacher affects eternity. They can never tell where their influence stops. What I'm really happy about is the number of parents and family members here. I was told there are about 90 of you all here, which is almost equal to the number of students, in fact more than the number of students physically present for graduation. Some of you may be here virtually, many of you in person. I'm sure today is going to be a absolutely treasured day. So the warmest of welcome to the parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, etc. Let me now turn my attention and a very, very warm welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Mukundan, Managing Director of Tata Chemicals since December 2008, which makes it 13 years and 6 months. Porter, one of the world's greatest strategists, said, you should have great leaders and they put great strategy in place. And at the end of the day, they don't look at what the shareholder value should be. It takes care of itself if you've got a great leader. And it's a testimony that the Tata Chemicals share price has jumped 6.5x times from the time Mr. Mukundan took over. It used to be about 150 rupees. It's today just shy of 1,000. So that would show you his leadership and what a great man he is. An IIT Roorkee, an FMS product, he joined the Tata Administrative Service. It's where Tata's picks up, and Tata's have been doing this for 65 years, the best, and groomed them for leadership. In fact, the task group called him one of their most famous success stories. It's almost the best of the very best if you think about Top Gun, right? TAS is the best, and then you've got TAS telling you, you're one of our best. So clearly Top Gun there. After TAS, an early story from his life, which is worth sharing, is when he met Ajit Kelkar, who's synonymous with the Taj Hotels and obviously another very tall leader of the Tata Group. He could have picked up any role, particularly, that very special, cool Taj Hotels job. But Mr. Kelkar gave him a challenge. He said, we've got this leather shoe factory, right? It's got 2 crores loss and 8 crores of revenue. Can you go fix it? Now, most people would have said, no, I'd rather take that cushy 5-star hotel kind of job. But not Mr. Mukundan. He chose this one. It was opportunity. In fact, a friend of his joked and said, "Arey kya tum chamar ban gaya hai?" He said, "No, fashion industry." The lesson from that whole incident is opportunities will come in ways you least predict, and you have to see the better side of it. In this case, fashion, and turning around something that is not doing too well. He then moved to TACO as part of the Indica project. He was employee number 3, spent a good number of years there and did exceptionally well, grew among the ranks. And then when he kind of hit that ceiling, including doing some operational roles, TAS made him another offer, which is, they said, here's a turnaround opportunity, why don't you join Tata Chemicals? Again, turnarounds are always scary because 80% of turnarounds fail, 20% may succeed. The easiest thing to do is run away. But then you can also look, it can't get worse than it is. And if you look at it from that side, you pick. And that's what probably Mukundan did when he chose this opportunity. He's credited with the transformation of Tata Chemicals from an industrial-focused, asset-heavy company to a consumer and asset-light, innovation-focused company. This is an example of real transformation when you talk about strategy, etc., which you would have read from Porter. Most importantly, what he said was, he focused on keeping the core values of the company intact. But as he always submits, it is a journey and it is always work in progress. Mr. Mukundan, look forward to you sharing your message, which will inspire the students to a journey of success. Now let me turn my attention to the stars of the day, class of 2022. A special class with a great diverse mix of 45% on gender, 25% of you came with prior work experience, and a great cultural mix from 19 states and union territories. I'll be doing the interviews for the new batch that's coming in, and quite often I ask the question, where is Chennai? Where is Kochi? And I hear answers like, South India? This is for, of course, somebody coming from Bihar or Orissa, etc. But now I'm sure, after your 2 years here, you just love everything, particularly the weather. And you just don't want to leave Chennai for that, right? The highlight which we are all really proud about is all the eligible students were placed by the end of March, that is 2 months before convocation, at an average CTC of 8 lakhs plus. That is a very healthy ROI, greater than 100%, when you recall that your fees, the program fees, was 7.5 lakhs. This is special to us. Thank you for walking tall on this front as well. Let us collectively thank family and friends, parents in particular, who have supported you through your life and here again at XIME. And parents, do pat yourself on the back, wipe that tear of joy. Your girls and boys turned out great in spite of the many scares that they may have given you along the way. And I'm sure they would have been many. But you're special in many other ways. You will have a special place in my heart as you are the first graduating batch of XIME Chennai after I became president of XIME Society. As I say this, I remember fondly Dr. Alexander, our former president, who we miss today and every day. Like the class of 2021, you encountered COVID hardship. In your case, probably more. In fact, if somebody is going to be called the COVID batch, you guys will be called that because you saw that love of COVID for 2 years. But the hardships will make you braver and stronger. I'm sure you got emotionally closer, bonded better, and you formed bonds that I'm sure will last you forever. I would suggest, I would urge, look back at your time at XIME and appreciate what you gained. Resiliency, adaptability, and an urge to seize opportunities and accept challenges. And you will look to the world and the future with optimism. And because of you, the world can be more optimistic. The class of 2022 will have bigger than normal impact on business because you have been emboldened by challenges we all want to forget. Let me end by a quote from Walt Disney. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Let me repeat that quote. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Wishing you courage, best wishes, Godspeed. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
I now request our beloved chairman, Padma Bhushan, Mr. B. Muthuraman, to welcome our chief guest, Mr. R. Mukundan, MD and CEO, Tata Chemicals, with a bouquet. Thank you, sir.
May I now request Dr. Ravi Veeraraghavan, the officiating director of XIME Chennai, to present the annual report.
Very good morning to you. Our chief guest, Mr. R. Mukundan, Managing Director and CEO, Tata Chemicals. Mr. B. Muthuraman, Chairman, XIME Chennai. Mr. Anil J. Pillai, President, XIME. Sister Pramila B.A., Vice President, XIME. Members of the Board of Governors, faculties, staff, students, parents, invitees from industry, press, and guests. It's our privilege to have you all on the happy occasion of the 4th Convocation of XIME Chennai. I deem it an honor to present the annual report at the 4th Convocation. Our academic year 21-22 was impacted twice by COVID. Batch 5 started with a virtual orientation program, Inspire, covering all the 3 campuses on July 1st, 2021. Mr. Anil J. Philip, the then Vice President of XIME Society, as a prelude, welcomed and congratulated the students and presented a glimpse of XIME legacy. Professor Philip, founder XIME and the chairman of XIME Bangalore, and our academic advisor, advised the students to be proactive in both curricular as well as co-curricular activities. Dr. B. Muthuraman, the former Tata Steel Vice Chairman and Chairman of XIME Chennai, spoke about management education on that occasion. Late Dr. J. Alexander, the then President of XIME, delivered a valuable lecture on Chase Your Dreams. The inaugural sessions, spread over 3 days, had industry leaders and distinguished speakers, including Mr. Kamal Bali, Managing Director, Volvo Group, and Mr. C.K. Kumaravil, Founder, Naturals. Bridge courses were conducted in July and the regular classes began on 2nd August 2021. Again, it was through online mode. Mr. Pradeep Nair, Vice President and Managing Director of VMware India, was the chief guest and he addressed the students. Physical classes started in September. Unfortunately, COVID wave started in January 2022, and by the middle of February 2022, students came back and we started the physical classes again. Students profile. Batch 5, the first year students now. Again, there are 49 students, and there are 104 students in the passing out batch. Batch 5 has students from 18 states, and 41% of them are girls. 43% of the students are engineers and science graduates in the batch 5. XIME took greater care to ensure the learning experience is not compromised. Our efforts amply rewarded when the results of the student feedback suggested that Chennai had performed well. It is also reflected in our consistent 100% placement record. Library, we have a well-equipped library. We have 9,000 plus volume of books, 13,000 e-books, and we subscribe to 20 international journals, 27 national journals, and 23 plus magazines. We buy 8 newspapers and provide Business Standard and Economic Times to all our students. We also subscribe to databases like XCO so that students can access current journals and research reports online. We also have access to Harvard case studies, which is part of our curriculum. Students' participation in external programs. Our students took part in several external programs and won several prizes. Let me highlight one or two. Our students participated in the Think Tank Energy Quiz 2022, hosted by MMA. XIME Chennai participated in that first round, which had 100 different teams. Chennai made it to the finals, and XIME team, represented by Kendrick, Abhishek Yoganand, won the first prize, beating IIT Madras and Anna University. This is one of the great achievements so far I've seen. Sachin Singh Chauhan, Batch 4, received a Stellar Performance Award from Finalytics. It was a 2-month live project in portfolio management and equity market research. Let me say a few words about leadership talks. We had guest lectures and leadership talks all through the year. We had leadership talks by industry experts, entrepreneurs, including Mr. Parthiban of IIT Incubation Center, Mr. Rajiv Ambat, CEO of Nuvo Vivo, Mr. Chandrasekhar K, founder of Anova Corporate Services, Mr. Siddharth Daga, CEO of Neo Motion, Mr. Vijay Kapoor, MD, Derby Men's Fashion, Mr. Venkat Asha, MD, Shine Projects, Mr. S. Karthikeyan, MD, Career Tree HR Solutions. These people spoke and they coached our students. We also had 2 Industry Connect meetings at XIME Chennai, which is very unique among the XIME campuses. On 23rd February 2022, a meeting of HR managers was hosted in XIME on the topic Gender Diversity in Manufacturing Industries, Challenges and Opportunities. And it was attended to by our HR friends from the industry. Almost 60 HR managers in and around Oragadam attended that program with the support of Atma HR Forum. HR leaders from Daimler and Flextronics shared their experiences in that forum, and it provided a good networking opportunity to our students. On April 20th, we had another Industry Connect meeting on POSH, Myths and Facts. Mrs. Adi Lakshmi, social activist and senior advocate, Madras High Court, and Mrs. Malini, HR head from New Indian Express Group, shared their views on the actual implementation of POSH. Over 40 executives attended this program along with our students. Summer internship and live projects. During the year, all the students got summer internship projects, and more than 40% of them got summer internship with stipend. We have engaged our students in getting them live projects in different companies in and around Oragadam during the term. We executed over 30 live projects during this period. Student club activities. The students formed clubs for each discipline and conducted events during the year. It includes variety of activities like expert lectures, contests, knowledge sharing sessions, etc. We have Finacle for Finance Club, XOps for Operations, XZ for Social Work, X Marketees for Marketing, Rhythm for HR, and Expressions for Communication Skills. More than 30 events and activities took place during the last 1 year. XZ Club activities include taking English language classes for a nearby government school. Our students go there and teach on a regular basis. XIME Chennai conducted a 4-day comprehensive summer sports event where our students actively participated both indoor and outdoor games. Celebrations. XIME student celebrated various festivals, whether it is offline or online. Festivals like Diwali, Christmas, Pongal, Onam, etc. We also celebrated Independence Day and Republic Day. The 75th Independence Day was celebrated here. Again, that time students could not come to the campus, but it was celebrated online. The flag hoisting was done by Chief Guest Professor C.P. Ravindranathan, Chairman of XIME Kochi. He was also the former Indian Ambassador to the Philippines and High Commissioner of India to Australia. He delivered an inspiring speech on India's growth and the future ahead. It was followed by cultural programs consisting of a few dancing and singing performances online. Republic Day celebrations. XIME Chennai conducted both online and offline celebrations of Republic Day. Students of Batch 5 rendered a dance performance. This was followed by cultural events in the online mode. XIME Chennai's third convocation. XIME Chennai conducted third convocation ceremony for the PGDM batch 2019 and 21 on the 10th of December 2021. The ceremony started with a welcome address by Professor J. Philip, Principal Founder. The event started with Mr. Muthuraman, Chairman of XIME Chennai, welcoming the Chief Guest. Mr. Bhaskar Bhatt, Director of Tata Sons, was also addressing the students. A total of 85 students got the diploma awards on that convocation ceremony. And all of them got placed in leading companies like Ernst & Young, HDFC Bank, PwC, Emphasis, etc. The gold medal for the best academic performance was awarded to Ms. Atulya Atmaja, and a cash prize of Rs 10,000 was given to her as a prize. And totally 7 awards were presented to the students in various specializations. Maria Philip debate. XIME Chennai organized Maria Philip Future Leaders debate competition across Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. This is the first time we went outside of the state. The topic was climate change is a catastrophic waiting to happen and not a technological challenge to be overcome. In Visakhapatnam zone, students from Gayatri Vidyalaya Parishad College of Engineering for Women were the toppers. In Coimbatore, Sri Ramakrishna Engineering College. In Madurai zone, Sastra Deemed University, and in Chennai, MPO Vaishnava students were the toppers. Publications. During the academic year 21-22, our faculty members made 42 publications. It includes 17 publications in reputed journals and 13 paper presentations, cases, and book chapters. Management development programs. We also conduct programs for the companies in and around Oragadam. So XIME Chennai conducted 9 such programs and 2 consulting engagements during the last year. Some of the programs are a 10-day program on leadership skills for the executives of Royal Enfield. And we had an 8 days program for Upload Tires and 2 days program for Mondo Automotive. And we also conducted several programs for the company executives. The topics include customer centricity, indirect procurement management, etc. We also conducted an online faculty development program on leveraging Jamovi for research. We have also done 3 programs with Hyundai. Placement. Placement for batch 4, pass out in May 2022, got completed on 30th of March 2022. 100% of the eligible students got placed. Though the batch 4 size is the largest so far in XIME Chennai, the placement got completed in record time. The average salary for batch 4 is 8.1 lakhs. In fact, when we started the first batch, it was 6 lakhs. The second batch, it was 6.5. The third batch, it was 7 lakhs. Now, it is 8.1 lakhs. That is our achievement. And in all the years, we have placed 100%. The highest salary for this year is 16.7 lakhs. And the average salary is 15% higher than the previous year. The students got placed in various good companies across different industries, including technology, consulting, and banking. Our recruiters include Infosys, Accenture, IBM, Wipro, Ernst & Young, PwC, KPMG, Grant Thornton, XAVIER, HCL, Dell, HDFC, ICICI, IDFC Bank, Gati, Reliance Retail, and Tech Mahindra. Graduating students. Out of the 104 students, Board of Governors have approved the awarding of PGDM to 98 students in the batch 4 in the convocation today. The Board of Governors has also approved the awarding of PGDM for the 3 students of batch 3. Congratulations to all. We have awards for the best outgoing students. I'm not going to tell you now. Professor Suresh Kumar will be announcing it soon. I'll be taking this opportunity to thank the sponsors of the Student Award. I would like to thank the industry, including Upload Tires, Temple. We have the Managing Director of Temple here, Royal Enfield, Oppo Betterment, Atma, the head of Atma HR Forum is here, TPA Composites, NIPM for their support during the year. Finally, I thank Mr. B. Muthuraman, Honorable Chairman of XIME Chennai, Mr. Professor J. Philip, Honorable Founder, XIME Institutions, Mr. Anil Philip, President, Sister Pramila, Vice President, and Mr. Kuncharia, the Secretary of Design Society, and all the board members for their support and guidance during the year. I would like to thank Professor V. Suresh Kumar, Dean Academics, for his contributions during the year. I also thank the faculty members and the staff for their efforts in making our institution very successful. I would like to thank the XIME alumni members also, because they contribute a lot when it comes to placement and training our students. I would like to conclude my report by wishing the outgoing students all the best in their careers. I am sure there's a special bond between the graduating students and the institute. We value and cherish that bond. I am sure that you will continue to be part of the institution with the same spirit and enthusiasm by contributing to XIME Chennai's progress and growth. Wishing you all a great future ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now, we come to the most awaited moment of the day. The batch 4 students will now receive their prized diplomas, a symbol of accomplishment at this point. May I call upon Professor Suresh Kumar V, Dean Academics, to take over the proceedings.
We now come to the key event of the convocation. Candidates for the 2-year full-time postgraduate diploma in management. The candidates will individually receive their diploma certificate from Honorable Chairman, Mr. Muthuraman, XIME Chennai, and then return to their places and remain standing. I now request Honorable Chairman, Mr. Muthuraman, to present the diploma certificates to the graduating students. I request all those present here to reserve their applause till all the diplomas have been presented and to avoid clapping in between. Abhishek Yoganand. Abhishek Narayanan. Aditya R. Aditya M. Ankit Goyal. Ankur Agarwal. Anuj Kesari. Anup A.N. Azhar Abdul Haq. Bharat M. Danya D. Pai. Gautam S. Gayatri. Harish Mahadev. Karan Kumar. Karan Modi. Katya. Kirtana N. Kendrick Jerry Ramesh. Komal Kumari Singh. Krishnakant, Malavika Prakash, Mary Steffi Henry, Madhi Vanan P, Mayur Goyal, and Krishna Priya. Nikita R, Nilanjan Roy Chowdhury, Nirupama, Vignesh Kumar, P.R. Malarvari, Padma Priya, Paridhi Taparia, Pavitra, Prashant K, Priyanshi Sharma. Was the chief guest, Mr. R. Mukundan, MD and CEO, Tata Chemicals, to kindly present the awards for excellence. The following students of the PGDM program, please come forward one at a time and receive the award for excellence from the chief guest. They are also requested to remain at the back of the dais to facilitate taking of a group photograph. Chairman's Merit Award of Rs 20,000 cash prize and certificate for the students scoring highest CGPA in the 2-year PGDM program in Batch 4, and the award goes to Nikita R. Obo Butterman India Private Limited has instituted an award of Rs 10,000 and a certificate for the best all-rounder PGDM Batch 4, and the award goes to Abhishek Yoganand. We now have the awards for excellence in various specializations. Temple India has sponsored the award of Rs 10,000 and a certificate for excellence in finance in the outgoing PGDM Batch 4, and the award goes to Salbi Jain. The Excellence in Human Resource Award is sponsored by Atma HR Forum, carries an award of rupees 10,000 and a certificate in the outgoing PGDM Batch 4. And the award goes to Komal Kumari Singh. An award has been instituted in memory of late Professor M.K. John, carries an award of rupees 10,000 and a certificate for excellence in operations in the outgoing PGDM Batch 4. And the award goes to Vignesh Kumar. The Excellence in Marketing Award is created in memory of late Professor Labdi Bhandari and carries an award of rupees 10,000 and the certificate, and the award goes to Ishani Costa. I think Ishani is not sure. XIME takes pride in presenting the Archbishop Alphonsus Matthias Award for humanitarian spirit and services rendered. The award carries a cash prize of rupees 10,000 and a certificate. And the award goes to Romala Rohita. Thank you very much, sir. Now we will have group photo of the award winners.
Thank you, sir. The winners can resume back to their seats. We would like to take a moment to once again thank the sponsors of the respective awards for partnering with us in recognizing excellence in various areas of management. We thank our sponsors, Obo Betterman India Private Limited, Temple India, and Atma HR Forum. We would like to thank Professor Suresh Kumar for his initiative in instituting the Excellence in Marketing Award in memory of late Professor Labdi Bhandari. And we would like to thank Mr. Matthew Paul Vidal in instituting the Excellence in Operations Award in memory of late Professor M.K. John. We look forward to your continued support for our coming batches as well.
It's indeed a privilege to have Mr. R. Mukundan, MD and CEO, Tata Chemicals in our midst today. Mr. R. Mukundan, Managing Director and CEO of Tata Chemicals Limited, joined Tata Administrative Service in 1990 after completion of MBA from FMS Delhi University. He is a distinguished alumnus of IIT Roorkee, Fellow of Indian Chemical Society, and an alumnus of Harvard Business School. During his 30-year career with Tata Group, he has held various responsibilities across the chemical, automotive, and hospitality sectors of the Tata Group. He serves on industry forums and impacts organizations. May I request our distinguished chief guest of the day to deliver the convocation address and enlighten our batch of graduates.
Greetings and good afternoon. It's good afternoon right now. I think we just no response. Good afternoon. You know, this is a great day for all of you. You should be smiling, and you know there must be a sense of joy and a lot of noise out there. So let's have once more time. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Very good. I think it's let me just say this is a great occasion for all of you. You have everything to be proud of, and it marks the culmination of years of toil and sweat, and also marks the beginning of journey for all of you. So let me first take one more moment to congratulate all of you, the class of 22. Give yourself a big round of applause. And as Anil Philip told us, don't forget the people seated at the back. They are the reason you are here. Please give your parents a big round of applause. They are the ones who really got you here. And finally, you know, we say Mata, Pita, Guru, Daivam. So the gurus who are seated in the front, they deserve a huge round of applause. Please go. So let me at the outset thank Mr. Muthuraman for inviting me here to share my thoughts. I feel indeed very privileged, sir, to be here, and honored to do this at such a premier institution like XIME, which is doing such a wonderful work in building the management talent for this country. Greetings also to Mr. Anil Philip, Mr. Ravi Veeraraghavan, Suresh, and Srimati Sister Pramila. I want to just start by saying, listen, 32 years ago, I was seated where you're all seated, looking forward to life ahead, with some enthusiasm, some energy, and I was very naive. Let me just say this, very naive at that time. And sitting where you are, I also heard a lot of words. So whatever I'm going to say, I was subjected to this that time. You know, this time it will be different letters which I will use, but nowadays people say VUCA world, volatile, unpredictable, complex, ambiguous. And you will also hear a lot of people say world is full of opportunities. You know, there's a golden rainbow out there which you're going to chase. But both are right, let me just say this. And what greater depiction of what that means cannot be provided but in the recent last 2 years. Last 2 years have been challenging. Pandemic has put us through, I think, what would have taken 2 decades in 2 years. And for a batch which has come through during the pandemic, I think you all deserve even a greater round of applause for what you've done. Please. Not many would have come through this challenge. It's time compression to a new normal. World has not witnessed before. Also during that time, the virtual became the new real world. And it's a very distinct shift which we have entered. And both merged. Disruption has led to innovation, greater collaboration, and digital is a fundamental shift. And I am not going to speak to you digital to all of you. Because you are digital natives, you know digital world better than I do. And it'd be wrong for me to even start to speak because I should learn a lot from you on that. The second shift which you're seeing, I was delighted to see that excellence recognition also being given to service and beyond academics. I think it's very important. It's connected to the world of sustainability. That's a huge shift in economy happening. There's also shift of economy eastward. From west, economy is moving eastward. This is our time, and this is our time to now actually show the world what we can do and what we can achieve. So next few decades will be a decade of digital, decade of sustainability, and will be India's decade. Even Economist agrees with this. If you've seen the cover story of Economist, the most recent Economist, it agrees with that. And I don't have to say about various programs government has unleashed, but all this is going to drive investments and growth. But with all this, how does one make best contribution given what is happening in the external world? How does one make one way? And I'm going to speak about this from my own life experience. And my experience has been to work for only one company, Tata. And when I say this, I worked all my life, 32 years, I'm still working all my life, in Tatas. Many graduates, when I go to campus, they look at me as if I'm a dinosaur. He probably wasn't good enough to find another job, so he's stuck here. But these are some of the points. But let me assure you, one thing I've learned, monogamy in workplace is as good as monogamy in marital life. And just like you say that you must choose your spouse well, I think you must choose your career and the firm well. If you do that well, you can stick around for a long, long time. So to me, it never occurred as an option, and it's been a great ride. I also want to mention that I would not have stayed in this one company if it was not for many indulgent bosses. This is why HR is very important. More importantly is the indulgent bosses who are very supportive, who give you mentorship. They are your gurus, and they are the superiors in the organization who actually show the way. And I want to say, here is actually an example of such a mentor. Thank you, Mr. Muthuraman, for being the mentor you've been to all of us in the group. And thank you for all what you've done to us. Many of us in the group look forward to you. And they have been pillars of my strength and journey through Tata's. And Tata has been an enduring enterprise, and they've endured many changes, challenges. We started as a textile company. It's not part of our portfolio today. But we've still grown stronger, stronger and better. And the reason for that, in my view, is the first point I want to leave with you. I'm going to leave with you 4 points. Anything more than 3, in fact, I think is too much. But more than 5, I don't give any points. The first point I want to leave with you is that the reason Tatas have survived is because there's a strong underpinning of values. Values help us in times of volatility, ambiguity. One can't predict what is out there, but if you embrace values, you can at least find your path which is right. Hence my first point. Firstly, they will always say this, and I say this again, follow your heart. Don't lead someone else's life, but lead your life, but lead it with values. I think that is all I would add to that point. Secondly, I think many of you will be unsure of what to do next. You may have a job, but still, you may want to do something. At least when I finished my MBA, I was unsure. And I think it's very, very fine. One of the reasons I joined Tata is because of that, because when I went for interview, because many banks came and said you could do finance. Then there was, marketing companies said marketing. So when I appeared for this interview, they said you don't have to make any decision. You can decide after being with us for 15 months. So I thought it was a great idea because I was not sure. So I stayed on. But also it helped me to work in many sectors and many companies and many fields. All I want to tell you, I never regretted the decision. 32 years have been great fun, and each one has been different. I have grown, and every bit of what I am is because of what this group has done. So that brings me to the second point. It is not important to know what you want to do as long as you are in good company. Satsangat. Being in good company is very important. So I would always say, all your life, try to surround yourself with good people. And Tatas are a good company. They've got a very simple motto, which is from Zarathustra, which is Humta, Hukta and Vrashta, which has been good thoughts, good words and good deeds. It may not matter today, but 25, 30 years from now, a good company is all which is going to matter to you. The place of work may not matter, but the people with whom you kept good company will matter a lot. So that's my second point. I'm going to go to the third point, which is about 2 stories from my time in Bitapur. I ran this plant it was one of the biggest chemical plants this side of the world. So this is about a guy called Satish Trivedi. He is a graduate. He walked into my office and then said, listen, you've got 25 acres of land, which company is having and it is not used. Can you give it to me? I want to build a biodiversity park. So this was more than 15 years ago, and in those days biodiversity was not known. In fact, I also didn't know what it meant. And I told him, we can give you the land, but we don't have any further money to give you. He said, I will develop this park just by voluntary work of our team. He then went on to meet local Rabaris. I'm going to cut a long story short. The local community, and worked with them, identified indigenous plants, medicinal plants, plants which had use, and created a park which is today one of the finest biodiversity park in that part of the world. We've had leopard sightings there. We had a nilgai. In fact, Ministry of Environment and Forest sends its officers there for training program every year. And this is a park wherein our contribution was just giving that land, but all done voluntarily by an officer in the company. He's not the boss, he's an officer, and he's done it himself. All done with voluntary work. Second one is even more touching. This is a guy called Mangubai Chawda. And I always say Mangubai Chawda represents the best of what Tatas have to offer. He's a worker in the factory. He walked into my office one day and he said, listen, I'm passionate about girl child education. And this is, a worker in the factory. And then he said, can I get some computers from you? I want to sort of set up a small classroom for the village girls to come and, tinker around. So we did something. Today, the program which he started, which is called Oragadam, he helps girl children who have not gone beyond 10th class to become graduates from SNDT University, with whom we have a tie-up. And all this is voluntary work with no funding. In fact, the best part was when I went back to Mitapur about 4 or 5 years ago, the Sarpanch called me and he said, ये लड़कियों के लिए जो करते हैं वो लड़कों के लिए करो. मैंने बोला क्या हो गया सर, ये तो लड़के तो पढ़ते होंगे. तो ये सर अभी जो है हमारे लड़कों के लिए शादी नहीं हो रही है. मैंने बोला क्या हो गया. Then he started telling that girls are far more educated now and the boys are not able to get married. Start the same program. That tells you a testimony of the work this guy has done. But common to these examples, two examples, I've got many examples by the way. Common to these two examples is that these two people were driven by sense of purpose. So I always say, what matters is not the size of the purse. What matters is the sense of purpose. And your role, your job, your title do not define you, but your sense of purpose defines you more than anything else. So these two people, one an officer, other one a worker. Mangubai Chawda is still a worker in the factory, by the way. He's one of our finest workers, but we all report to him when we go to Oragadam. He is the director of that program. But then come factory, he goes to the machine and works. But that's the point. So finally, let me come to this. You will all lead. You're all leaders of today and tomorrow. You're going to enter a world of opportunities, difficulties, but you'll make a lot of choices. The fourth point I want to request you is about what you can do in your circle of influence. So firstly, values. Second one is surround yourself with good people. And third is have a sense of purpose. And you may not find it immediately, but do dig deep and find. It is about what you can do for the planet. I think while you get digital, you're digital natives, one thing we should not forget is that sustainability is going to be core of everything you do in your decision making. And if you want to sort of leave a legacy which is much better than what you start out now in your workplace, I think you need to focus on being more sustainable. Our generation hasn't been a great example of that, but I think your generation can be. And fundamentally, you'll be more sensitive to environment, more sensitive to society and community. And I think make this in your workplace wherever you're one of your number one priorities. Also, the other thing which is very important is we can't have this huge difference between haves and have-nots. And you're all in a privileged position to make that effort to make this world a more equitable place. So whatever your little contribution will be, I think try to do that. So you must, in my view, sort of focus on sustainability, which is about planet and also about equity amongst people. I'm delighted we have gender parity approaching in this institution, but that is another big area which is part of the equity. So I can only leave you with 4 guideposts. Life is going to be unpredictable. It's going to change. I thought these worked for me and these have been my reflections. So follow your heart. Don't lead someone else's life, lead your own, but lead it with values. It's not important to be sure of what you want to do as long as you're in good company. What matters more than your job, designation, money is the sense of purpose. And it's not the size of the purse, but the size of purpose. And weave sustainability in whatever you do. I'm going to end my talk with a prayer and a wish. And this prayer for you all is from Brandana Karnya Upanishad, which was composed 6 centuries before Christ. And it really literally means the great wilderness of forest. and I'm going to read it as well as I can read Sanskrit. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu nirmayaha, sarve badrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha abhag bhavet. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Now I'll tell you the meaning of this. May all be happy. May all be free from diseases. May none of you be subjected to misery. May all of you see things auspicious. So I want all of you to be happy and see things auspicious. Not that you must all spread joy and happiness in whatever you do, but the purpose of your life must be full of happiness, joy, and auspiciousness. Finally, if that was the wish, my wish for this batch, I wish you all a great journey. As you go on this journey, remember one of my favorite quotes from a poet who I love dearly, T.S. Eliot. This is from Little Gidding. And this goes back to what Daniel Phillips told you about, as well as Ravi spoke about. Remember this institution. We shall not cease from exploration. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started. So I repeat, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and to know the place for the first time. Happy journey. Thank you and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring speech. It will remain etched in our hearts forever.
I now request Honorable Chairman Mr. B. Muthuraman of XAVIER Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship, Chennai, to address the gathering.
Can I close this? You know, you all heard Mr. Mukundan speak, and when you hear me, you'll probably come to a conclusion that all these Tata people speak the same language. But as long as it's a good language, and as long as those thoughts are sustainable and valid for a long period of time, there is no harm in listening to it repeatedly, at least for the second time. So first of all, thanks Mr. Mukundan for giving a wonderful message to the outgoing students. I'm sure all our students have listened to you very carefully and will have them in their mind as they pursue their careers. Our chief guest, Mr. R. Mukundan, Managing Director and CEO of Tata Chemical, one of the most respected senior business leaders of India. Mr. Anil Philip, President of XIME Society, Sister Pramila, Vice President of XIME Society, Dr. Ravi Veeraraghavan, Officiating Director of XIME, Mr. Professor Suresh Kumar, Dean of XIME Chennai, but most of all, graduating students and their proud parents, members of the media, and ladies and gentlemen. Let me at the outset wish all the graduating students the very best in their future career and in their life. You have been through a fine institution for 2 years, and I'm sure the institute has helped you in shaping your thoughts and mindsets. You are entering your professional career at a very interesting and challenging time in the world. As the world was tackling the war with COVID, we are witnessing another war between Ukraine and Russia, which is threatening to become a long-drawn Cold War. There is a rebalancing of economic power as well as political power between nations, with India emerging in a very strong global position in both. There is a high-speed digitization on. Technology is changing business processes and business models. COVID has made some irreversible changes in the way we live and manage our business. All these present new opportunities and of course new challenges to the youth of India, all of you. In order to succeed in this environment, you all need functional knowledge, of course, that suits the current times, which is what you learned here for the last 2 years. In addition, you all need contextual knowledge and certain key personal traits. Contextual knowledge in terms of global dynamics, in terms of technology, in terms of societal issues, environmental issues, global warming, climate change, sustainability, global governance model. I cannot imagine a business executive being successful nowadays and in the future without an understanding of environment, without an understanding how to take decisions that will be sustainable over a period of time and will help the planet in which we all live. Personal traits like ability to perform with hunger in the stomach, like passion, ability to and courage to take risks, judgment, value systems, ability to work in teams, people development skills and so on. I often think that for a successful business executive, a good balance between these three, like 30-30-40, with 40% being personal traits, is probably the most important thing for success of a business executive, or any executive for that matter. While the contextual knowledge and the personal traits are not taught in the management programs in India in a formal manner, and I hope one day the management schools graduate to teaching or facilitating the process of personal development as well as contextual knowledge. I hope we have provided you all with enough appreciation of the importance of these for you to search for avenues for self-learn these. It is the proper balance between functional knowledge, contextual knowledge, and personal traits that make a successful business executive. There is one more thing I wanted to mention. I went through a list of companies on which all of you have got placements. So congratulations, I know 100% of the students have been placed. It's an extremely happy point to note that we have been able to not only place all of you on a 100% basis, but probably one of the earliest institutes to have 100% placement. So congrats to all of you. While saying that, I also want to mention that the companies I saw in that list were all IT or banks or consulting and so on. I know these are comfortable jobs. These are jobs possibly pay a higher starting salary. But please understand, the country moves, the real creation of wealth for a country, the real creation of a progress of a country at the stage at which India is today, it lies in manufacturing. And there is no country in the world, without an exception, which has gone through, without having gone through a solid phase of manufacturing, has become economically prosperous. It cannot be untrue of India. It has to be true of India too. So please look at the possibility of getting a manufacturing orientation in your jobs. The second sector that I find is increasingly important and which may be less glamorous than banking or less glamorous than IT and less glamorous than consulting is the social sector. India's problems, I often believe, are not in economics. There is social side, the inequality in opportunities, inequality in incomes, the discrimination. Many of the social issues, if we don't solve in India, irrespective of what progress we make in digitization, irrespective of what progress we make anywhere else in the economic world, India will get stalled in its progress. So it is important to solve social problems. I have a wonderful example, and I always quote this particular person. I have a friend of mine in Bangalore who 5 years ago, 6 years ago, he came to me one day and he said he is the CEO of Immobile in India. I said, fine. Then he said, Mr. Muthuraman, I have come to meet you with a particular reason. I said, what is it? Because I had never known him before. He is an IIM Ahmedabad graduate. He was the CEO of Immobile in India. And he said, I want to quit my job and I want to do some social service. Can you introduce me to a few people in Bangalore? So I rang up 6 people. And I wrote a letter to Mr. Ratan Tata as the chairman of the Tata Trust. Because this boy had a wonderful idea of starting an NGO, starting a non-government organization for serving the society. He is an MBA from Ahmedabad. He is the CEO of Immobile. At the age of 32, he is an extremely successful executive. And he said, I am fed up with this corporate life and I want to serve the social sector. Please just help me to meet people. Because he did not know anybody in Bangalore. So I spoke to 6 people in his presence and got those meetings organized, including writing a letter to Mr. Ratan Tata. On the receipt of my letter, Mr. Ratan Tata, through the Tata Trust, donated 5.5 crores for this boy's initial venture. That boy has now become one of the fastest growing NGOs of India, called the Nudge Skill Foundation, of which I happen to be one of the founders. But the more importantly, he is the boy who has created this organization. He employs 650 people today. He has a program, skill development program in villages of India. He does a poverty alleviation program in Jharkhand. He does a poverty alleviation program, extreme poverty alleviation program along with Professor Yunus of Bangladesh in Uttar Pradesh. He conducts programs for IAS people as to how to understand society and social issues. So please pay attention to society of India's social issues. In fact, I firmly believe that a business executive of today and tomorrow, in fact more tomorrow, cannot be a good executive unless he understands the social issues of India and builds the solution to solve social issues in his business decisions. Please pay attention to that. So once again, let me wish all of you good luck, good prospects, and a future life full of glory and success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking address. May I request Mr. Anil J. Philip, President XIME Society, to hand over the memento to our chief guest. I now request Ms. Shubhangi, an outgoing student of Batch 4, to give her impressions and propose a vote of thanks on behalf of the graduating batch.
A very warm afternoon to the revered dignitaries, the chief guest, the chairman, president, vice president of XIME Society, officiating director, dean academics, all the faculty and staff of XIME Chennai, guests, parents and my fellow batchmates. A journey of 1,000 miles commences with the first step, seeing our PGDM as a stepping stone for an adventure called life. I would like to congratulate all the graduates of the 4th batch of XIME Chennai. I deem it as a privilege to extend the vote of thanks and sum up the wonderful journey at XIME Chennai on behalf of Batch 4. At the culmination of journey that our batch began 2 years ago, we are under this roof with warm and grateful hearts, thinking about all the associations, friendship, irreplaceable moments that we cherish together in this beautiful campus. For us, the journey began on August 2020 in online mode amidst COVID-19 worries, leaving all of us nervous and clueless about how the next 2 years would look like. The first year for us was rigorous and eventful because of many factors, with constant reminder of one phrase that kept hitting us hard from all sides: academic rigor. We were the first pandemic batch. We had to log in our class at 7:58 a.m. sharp. The ones running late while trying to fix their network issues and mic issues would experience our professors saying, "It's time." We had numerous club activities and all of us were pulled out of our comfort zone, and if we swayed away even a little bit, we would get mocked with WhatsApp texts and calls and brought back into the game. A surprise quiz could happen anytime, especially when you were expecting least for it to happen. If you didn't read your books and gone through the PPTs, oops, you're lost. The competition in the class was intense, and obviously it's all because of relative grading. And if anyone scores really high and is an outlier from the class, the major outliers were Nikita, Ishani, and Abhishek. Industrial visits were always an activity we looked forward to. We went to various companies like Renault, Nissan, Motherson, etc. The diversity we had in XIME Chennai reflected in how we celebrated various festivals from all parts of India: Pongal, Onam, Navratri, Diwali, Christmas, Holi. Life project was a big learning opportunity for all of us as it got us the required exposure of corporate. The main challenge for us was to wake up at 7 a.m. It took a lot of effort from every one of us to wake up at the break of dawn, assemble in the mess for having idli, dosa, and specially tea and coffee. We got a taste of the South Indian cuisine. But as usual, we got late sometimes and listening to our directors clapping and saying, "It's time, go to your classes." Club activities on Sunday used to be the most adventurous trip for us. Working for hours and then finally roaming around with friends was something that was never planned. Convincing Matthew sir with our ideas for XAVIER activities was one of the milestones for each and every club member. And the day was not complete without a reminder email from the dean within the first hour of the day, and sometimes even before the class starts, outlining the importance of Monday formals, and sometimes yes for parties and celebration and outing times. A walk to Lava Cake and Best Corner was the evening ritual followed by each one of us. Having brownie from Lava Cake and a cup of tea from Best Corner worked as an energy booster for us. Waking up at 6 a.m. on Monday morning, running with sari in our hand to someone who knows to drape it perfectly was an unsuccessful effort made by us. Since I can say this is one of the transformation that our parents can clearly see in us, we can drape our sari perfectly now. Hostel curfew time was nothing less than a pressure test. Each one of us was running like athletes by 8:58 p.m. towards our hostel, and the satisfaction of getting inside on time was more than having a good meal. Coming late on Sunday and writing name in late register was something that nobody of us wanted to do. Still, we did it quite a few times. Going to Dean's office and giving him the reason for being late was hilarious as our lives. "Sir, we got late because we missed the train." We are the mass batch with 104 students. Also, we attended the highest number of enquiries in college and hostel for various reasons. I can see some of my friends giggling and stopping themselves from smiling. We also hold record for falling sick in a jiffy at our will. Our first year batch coordinator used to say. Here now, and looking back at the 2 years we had here, I believe that we have done it all. We have made enough of happy memories with our higher management, We are happy that this batch had achieved 100% placement even before the end of month of March. Companies like Infosys, Wipro, EY and ITC were our major recruiters. Lastly and most importantly, we are stepping out of the institute after leaving a very strong impression and memories that will not fade so easily. So what we had accomplished, and this statement repetitively used that we were a special batch with most number of hostile inquiries, XIME Chennai shall remember us for our achievement and mischiefs forever. Let's not be sad that it's the time to say goodbye to each other and to our campus. Instead, let's be grateful for the fact that we have got to spend 2 years together and got the opportunity to meet our friends whom we hold close to our hearts and to sit in the main lawn and talk to them every night after dinner. Let's do all what we have learned from this prestigious institute and continue to strive toward excellence in our workplaces and ventures. And through our work, let the story of XIME Chennai propagate further. To stand true to the purpose of the occasion of giving gratitude, I would like to thank the families of all the graduating students for allowing them to be a part of this institute away from home and for being our constant support. All of us are forever indebted to you. On behalf of graduating student of Batch 4, I would like to thank our chief guest on the 4th convocation of XIME Chennai, Mr. R. Mukundan Sir, MD and CEO Tata Chemicals, for gracing us with his presence and for delivering the convocation address. I would also like to thank the management of XIME, Professor J. Philip, Principal Founder, Chairman, XIME Bangalore, Mr. B. Muthuraman, Chairman, XIME Chennai, Mr. Anil Philip, President, XIME Society, Sister Pramila, Vice President, XIME Society, Dr. Ravi, Officiating Director, Professor Suresh Kumar, Dean Academics, the faculty and staff of XIME Chennai. Special thanks to all the admin team and our warden ma'am for ensuring that we could have a seamless experience and stay at this institute. Lastly, I would like to express my gratitude on behalf of all the graduating students to the guests, family members who have accepted the invitation and are taking part in the 4th convocation of XIME Chennai. Thank you for your participation. We did it, guys. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shubhangi. You spoke from your heart, impressing all the graduates.
May I request the gathering to rise for the national anthem?
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I request Honorable Chairman Mr. B. Muthuraman to close the proceedings.
I declare the 4th convocation of XIME Chennai closed.
I request the audience to remain standing till the convocation procession leaves the hall. The graduates are requested to assemble for a group photo before the lunch in the amphitheatre. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us, and we request to join us for the lunch.
okay. மதுரை போய் நான் போய் ரொம்ப